For most of our lives, we've been told one thing over and over again. Drink your milk. It's good for your bones. It was something our parents believed, our doctors repeated, and maybe even something we passed down to our children and grandchildren. But what if I told you that very same glass of milk you've trusted for years might actually be doing the opposite of what you hoped? If you've been waking up with stiff knees, if your fingers feel tight in the morning, if your body just doesn't move the way it used to, no matter how much you stretch or walk, it might not be just aging. In fact, for some people, milk could be silently contributing to joint stiffness, inflammation, and daily discomfort. Not because milk is inherently bad, but because as our bodies age, they begin to change, and how we react to certain foods changes too. Today, we're going to look at something most people never even think about. Not to create fear, but to open your eyes to a possibility that could make your days feel lighter, freer, and less painful. So if you've ever felt like your body is sending you signals and you just haven't figured out what it's trying to say, stay with me. This might be the moment where it all starts to make sense. Let me introduce you to Susan. Susan is 68 years old. She's a retired elementary school teacher who lives just outside of Des Moines, Iowa. She loves tending to her garden, baking cookies with her grandkids, and starting each morning with a glass of milk, just like she's done for nearly 40 years. But about a year ago, something started to change. She began waking up stiff. Her knees didn't bend the way they used to. Her fingers felt swollen and clumsy. At first, she thought, well, maybe it's just part of getting older. She mentioned it to her doctor, who ran some basic tests. Nothing serious showed up, no arthritis, no obvious injuries. Just mild inflammation, he said. Pretty normal for your age. But for Susan, it didn't feel normal. The ache was deeper. The stiffness didn't go away after a short walk. It lingered. She tried stretching. She bought a new mattress. She even cut back on salt, thinking maybe it was water retention. Nothing helped. Then, almost by accident, she saw an article online about milk and joint inflammation. It mentioned how some people, especially as they age, start reacting differently to certain proteins in milk, specifically something called casein. It made her pause. She remembered how she felt bloated after cereal some mornings, how her stomach sometimes felt off after a glass of milk, but she never connected the dots. So, just as an experiment, she decided to stop drinking milk for 1 month. No milk in the coffee, no milk with cereal. She switched to almond milk just to see, and by the end of those 30 days, something unexpected happened. She noticed her hands felt looser in the morning. She didn't groan getting out of bed. Her knees still creaked a little, but they moved more easily. She felt lighter, clearer, not just in her body, but in her mood too. Now, Susan's story won't be true for everyone, but it raises an important question. Could something as simple, as trusted, as common as milk be silently affecting your joints right now? Let's talk about what science has found and why this may be especially important as we age. The science behind milk and joint inflammation. Now, let's talk about what's actually going on inside your body and how milk, something so familiar and comforting, might be quietly making your joints feel worse. First, it's important to say this. Milk is not evil. It has nutrients, calcium, protein, vitamin D that support bone health. And for many people, it's completely fine. But as we age, our bodies change, and the way we process milk can change too. Let's start with two important words, casein and lactose. Casein is the primary protein in cow's milk. And for some people, especially adults over the age of 50, casein can act like an irritant. Your immune system may see it as something foreign, something it needs to fight. And when your body goes into fight mode, it creates inflammation. Inflammation is your body's natural defense system. It's like an internal alarm that activates when something seems wrong. In small doses, it helps us heal. But when that alarm stays on, day after day, it becomes harmful. It can settle in your joints. your gut, even your brain. And that's when you start to feel the stiffness, the swelling, and the fatigue. Now let's talk about lactose. Lactose is the sugar found in milk. In order to digest it, your body needs an enzyme called lactase. Most children produce a lot of lactase, which is why milk is usually fine when we're young. But here's the thing. After age 40, many people naturally start producing less lactase. This means the body can't break down lactose properly. And when that happens, undigested lactose sits in your gut and ferments, causing gas, bloating, discomfort, and in some cases, even systemic inflammation. What's really tricky is that many people are sensitive to milk but don't know it. It's not a full-blown allergy. You might not get hives or go into shock. Instead, the symptoms are subtle: joint stiffness, brain fog, low energy, digestive upset, or mild headaches. Things that we often blame on getting older. But the science is clear. Several studies, including one from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, have shown that diets high in dairy, especially in people with lactose intolerance or casein sensitivity, are linked to higher markers of inflammation. And here's another surprising fact. In a study of adults aged 55 and older who experienced chronic joint pain, nearly 30% reported noticeable improvements in mobility and pain after reducing or eliminating dairy for just 4 weeks. So what does all this mean for you? It doesn't mean everyone needs to stop drinking milk today, but it does mean that if you're struggling with unexplained stiffness or pain, especially in the morning, it might be worth asking, is milk still working for my body, or is it quietly working against it? Listening to your body is not weakness, it's wisdom. And remember, you're not giving up something good. You're opening the door to something better. Because once you understand how your body works, you can begin to give it what it really needs. In the next part, I'll walk you through the signs to watch for, how to know if milk might be the cause of your joint discomfort, and what to do next. What to watch for. Signs it could be milk. So now that you understand a little more about how milk and certain compounds inside it, like casein and lactose, can cause inflammation, let's talk about the real question. How do you know if milk is affecting your joints? The truth is, most people don't realize the connection. That's because the symptoms are often quiet, subtle, and spread out. But your body is always communicating with you. You just need to know how to listen. Here are some common signs that your body might not be handling milk the way it used to, especially if you're over the age of 55. Sign number 1, morning stiffness that lasts more than 30 minutes. It's normal to feel a little stiff when you first wake up, but if that stiffness lingers well into your morning, if your knees feel locked, your hips ache, or your fingers feel like they don't want to bend, it could be a sign of ongoing inflammation. Many people don't realize this, but the foods we eat the night before can directly impact how we feel the next morning. If you had cereal with milk for dinner, or a glass of warm milk before bed, and you wake up feeling more swollen than usual, your body might be reacting to that. Sign number 2, swelling in the fingers, ankles, or knees. Inflammation doesn't always come with big dramatic pain. Sometimes it's subtle. You might notice your rings feel tighter, or your shoes don't fit quite the same. Maybe your hands look a little puffier than they used to. This kind of swelling is often brushed off as getting older or a little water retention. But what if it's not just age? What if your immune system is reacting to something you're eating every day and your joints are quietly paying the price? Sign number 3, brain fog or low energy after meals. One of the less obvious signs of food-related inflammation is brain fog. That feeling of heaviness, forgetfulness, or mental slowness that comes after eating. Milk can cause inflammation not just in your joints, but also in your gut. And when the gut is inflamed, it can affect your whole body, including your brain. If you feel clear-headed before breakfast, but notice your focus slipping after that morning coffee with milk, your body might be trying to tell you something. Sign number 4, bloating, gas, or digestive upset. This one's more familiar. As we mentioned earlier, many adults lose the ability to digest lactose properly after age 40. This means milk, cheese, yogurt, even ice cream can lead to bloating, discomfort, gas, and irregular digestion. Some people assume they're just getting more sensitive in general, but often it's one or two specific foods causing the issue. And milk is one of the most common culprits. If you've had to unbutton your pants after a bowl of cereal, or if your stomach feels tight after creamy sauces or coffee creamers, your body might be telling you that milk is no longer a friend. Sign number 5, chronic fatigue or a general heavy feeling. You may be sleeping enough, resting during the day, even eating what seems like a balanced diet, but you still feel tired, not sleepy tired, worn out, drained. Chronic inflammation, even mild inflammation, can contribute to that heavy, dragging feeling. Your body is using energy to fight something instead of healing and restoring. Some people notice that when they stop drinking milk, even for just a week or two, that fatigue starts to lift. They feel lighter, more awake, more like themselves. How to track your own symptoms. Here's a simple way to explore whether milk might be affecting you. Keep a food and symptom journal for 14 days. Write down everything you eat and how your body feels 1 hour later, 4 hours later, and the next morning. If you notice a pattern like joint pain, stiffness, or bloating after having milk or dairy products, that's a signal worth listening to. You don't need a medical degree to trust your own experience. Your body is wiser than you think. What doctors often miss. To be fair, not every doctor is trained to look at food sensitivities. Unless you have a full allergy or something extreme shows up on a test, they may not connect the dots between milk and your joint pain. But as someone who's worked with thousands of older adults over the years, I've seen firsthand how simple changes in diet, like removing milk for a few weeks, can make a remarkable difference. It's not about blaming food. It's about learning how your unique body responds now at this stage in your life. If you're hearing this and thinking, that sounds a lot like me, you're not alone. Millions of older adults experience these same symptoms quietly. They try to stretch more, they take pain relievers, they blame their age, but they never question what's in their cup, their bowl, or their plate. But once they do, everything begins to shift. I've met people who were able to garden again, play tennis again, walk longer distances, just by adjusting what they put in their body each day. No extreme diets, no pills, just gentle awareness, a little curiosity, and the willingness to try something new. Alternatives to try. How to replace milk and feel better without sacrifice. So now that you've heard how milk might be quietly contributing to joint stiffness, inflammation, or even fatigue, let's talk about something much more exciting, what you can do about it. Because here's the good news. If you decide to take a break from milk, even just for 30 days, you're not going to be left with bland meals or weak bones. In fact, you might just discover a whole new world of flavors, nutrients, and choices that make you feel even better than before. But I need calcium for my bones. Let's clear that up first. This is probably the number one concern I hear when people think about cutting back on milk. But I need calcium. And yes, calcium is important. But here's something that may surprise you. Milk isn't the only or even the best source of calcium. In fact, your body absorbs calcium more efficiently from some plant-based sources than from dairy. Plus, many plant milks are fortified with calcium and vitamin D, sometimes even more than cow's milk. So if you're worried about your bones, don't be. You have plenty of options. Let's walk through them. Number 1, almond milk. Almond milk is light, slightly nutty, and often enriched with both calcium and vitamin D. It's low in calories, has no lactose, and is generally very gentle on the digestive system. It's perfect for coffee, smoothies, and cereal. And for many older adults, switching to almond milk results in better digestion and less bloating almost immediately. Tip: choose unsweetened versions to avoid added sugars. Number 2, oat milk. Oat milk has a creamy, rich texture that's very close to cow's milk. It works wonderfully in tea, coffee, and cooking. It also has fiber, which is good for your heart and gut. Many brands fortify oat milk with calcium, B vitamins, and vitamin D. And because oats are naturally low in allergens, oat milk is often well tolerated by people with food sensitivities. Number 3, coconut milk, carton, not canned. Coconut milk from the carton, not the thick canned version used in cooking, is another great alternative. It's smooth, naturally sweet, and often enriched with important nutrients. It's lactose-free, gentle on digestion, and adds a pleasant tropical flavor to drinks and recipes. Number 4, soy milk, in moderation. Soy milk is high in protein, almost as much as cow's milk, and is also fortified with calcium and vitamin D. That said, some people are sensitive to soy, so it's worth trying small amounts first. And if you've had hormone-related health issues in the past, talk to your doctor before making soy a daily part of your diet. Number 5, cashew or macadamia milk. These are newer options, but they're rich, creamy, and perfect for lattes or baking. They have fewer ingredients, which makes them easier to digest for many older adults. They also blend well with other plant milks if you like to mix and match for texture or flavor. What about yogurt, cheese, and ice cream? Let's be honest, milk isn't just milk. It's also yogurt, cheese, butter, ice cream. And for many of us, those foods carry comfort, memories, even emotional value. So what happens when you give them up? Thankfully, the market today is full of alternatives that let you enjoy the same flavors without the inflammation. Plant-based yogurts. Look for almond, oat, or coconut-based yogurts with live cultures. They taste great. And many contain probiotics that actually help your gut and reduce inflammation. Tip: add a few fresh berries and a drizzle of honey, and you may never go back to dairy yogurt. Non-dairy cheeses. Vegan cheeses have come a long way. Brands now make almond, cashew, or coconut-based cheeses that melt, stretch, and even taste like the real thing. No, it's not exactly the same, but your joints won't miss the dairy. Dairy-free ice cream. You'll find oat milk, almond milk, and coconut milk-based ice creams in almost every grocery store now. They're delicious, creamy, and won't leave you feeling bloated afterward. How to make the switch without feeling deprived. Change can feel intimidating, especially when it involves foods you've eaten your whole life. But here's a gentle reminder. You're not giving something up. You're simply trying something new to feel better. Here's how to make it easier. Start slow. Begin by replacing milk in your coffee or tea. Then try a plant milk with cereal or in a smoothie. Experiment with brands. Not all almond or oat milks taste the same. Try a few to find one you truly enjoy. Focus on how you feel. After a week or two, check in with yourself. Is your stomach calmer? Are your joints looser? Is your energy up? Don't aim for perfection. If you still enjoy a little cheese on pizza once a month, that's okay. This is about progress, not pressure. Real people, real changes. We've talked about the science, we've talked about the symptoms, and we've talked about the solutions. But sometimes what really makes it real is hearing from people just like you. Everyday folks in their 60s, 70s, and beyond who decided to make one small change and got big results. Let me share a few of their stories. Meet John, 72 years old, retired firefighter from Ohio. For most of his life, John started every day the same way. A cup of coffee with cream, 2 pieces of toast with butter, and a bowl of cereal with whole milk. When he retired, he noticed his knees were stiffer. Walking upstairs was more painful than it used to be. His hands ached when gripping tools in the garage. He tried glucosamine, he tried stretching, but nothing made a real difference. Then, after watching a health documentary, he gave up dairy for 30 days. That's all. No fancy supplements, no intense workouts, just 30 days, no milk, no cream, no cheese. By the end of the first week, the bloating he always thought was just part of life was gone. By week 3, he said his knees no longer screamed when getting out of bed. And after a full month, he started going on walks again, something he had quietly stopped doing years ago. Then there's Mary, 69, retired nurse from Arizona. Mary had been struggling with brain fog, her words, for over a year. She'd walk into a room and forget why. She'd reread the same paragraph in a book 2 or 3 times before it stuck. She was scared. She thought maybe it was the beginning of something more serious. Her daughter, a nutritionist, gently suggested trying a dairy-free month. Mary was skeptical but agreed. Within 10 days, she said something strange happened. The clouds started to lift. Her thinking was clearer. Her energy came back. Her stomach, always gassy, calmed down. And the best part? She didn't miss milk. She found a vanilla almond milk she liked, switched to coconut yogurt, and started feeling like herself again. Lastly, there's Ron and Judith, a couple in their late 70s from Vermont. They watched a video, maybe like this one, and decided to do the 30-day challenge together. They made it fun, tried different plant-based milks, swapped recipes, made homemade cashew cheese. Ron's arthritis pain eased by week 2. Judith said her hands no longer felt puffy and hot. And the two of them, after years of slowing down, started taking evening walks again, hand in hand. These aren't miracles. They're not rare exceptions. They're just people who were open to asking, what if? What if your body is still trying to help you, but it just needs a little less inflammation to do its job? What if one small change could give you back a part of your life? A new chapter. It's not too late to feel better. You've spent your whole life doing the right things. You worked hard, you raised a family. You showed up for others when it mattered. You followed the advice you were given. Drink your milk, stay active, take care of yourself. And now, after all those years, your body is asking for something different. Not because you did anything wrong, but because your body is wiser now. And it's time we start listening to it with the same care and respect we've always given to others. Maybe for you, milk has never been a problem. That's okay. But if what you've heard today made you think, even for a moment, that sounds like me, then this could be the beginning of something better. Because it's never too late. Never too late to question old habits. Never too late to learn something new. And absolutely never too late to feel better than you do today. Imagine waking up with less stiffness. Imagine being able to go for that walk without hesitation. Imagine your joints feeling a little more free, your digestion a little calmer, your energy just a little stronger. It doesn't take a miracle. It doesn't take a prescription. It takes curiosity and a willingness to try something small. Whether you try it for a week, 2 weeks, or a full month, just know this: your body will thank you for paying attention. It's been talking to you. And now, maybe you're ready to listen. So here's my challenge for you. Try going dairy-free for 30 days. Not forever, just 30 days. Replace the milk in your coffee. Try a new kind of yogurt. Experiment in the kitchen. Track how you feel. And if you notice a change, even a small one, that's your body's way of saying, yes, this is helping. And if nothing changes, that's okay too. You tried, you learned, and that's always worth something. If you found value in this video, I'd love for you to share it with a friend, a spouse, or someone you care about. Because when we ask better questions together, we make better choices and live better lives. This is Elders Insight, and I'm so glad you joined me today. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind to your body, and never stop learning.